know that, right? It's chapter 7 from Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Okay, so before that, we will start Mangalachan Prayer. And I believe you also know. If you don't know, just try to follow me. I mean, you don't have to keep microphone on. You just speak on yourself, just on muted. So that will be no more disturbance. Okay, so I will recite and you can follow or you can sing along with me also if you know it. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshura Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, now you can recite after me and keep your microphone on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udirayet
Tato Jayam Mudirayet
Nastapraye Swabhadresu
Nashtapraye Svabhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Very good.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Very good. Very good. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to have you read Let's see. Okay, so we are here on chapter 7, the son of Drona punished. So that will be the later part of the chapter. Today, we are going to cover 11 verses on this chapter, which will describe the Vyasadeva's compiled Shrimad Bhagavatam, and then he taught his son, Sukadeva Goswami. So one by one, text 1 begin with Mihika and then Nihal, Mihika and Nihal one by one. You're going to read the translation of this verse to get comprehensively what we're going to see in this 1 to 11 verses, and then I will explain them. Okay, Mihika, start reading text 1.
Prabhuji, I cannot see anything on your screen except like the background.
You don't say
Like,
anything? Oh, stop. I don't know why. What happened? Okay. So screen. Okay, as I said. Can you see it now?
it's still loading, Prabhuji.
Oh. What about Nihal? Nihal, are you?
Okay.
Nihal, can you see the screen, Nihal?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Mika, text 1. Can you read it?
Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I read text 1, right?
Can you read this text 1?
Okay, Prabhuji. Rishi Shonaka asked, O Sutta, the great and transcendently powerful Vyasadeva heard everything from Sri Narada Muni. So after Narada's departure, what did Vyasadeva do?
Okay, Nihal, next one.
Okay, Sri Sutta said, on the western bank of river Saraswati, which is intimately related with the Vedas, there is a cottage for meditation at Samyaprasa.
Samyapras, this is the name of the ashram.
Okay, Samyapras, which enlivens the transcendental activities of the sages.
Very good. Text 3.
In that place, Sri Vyasadeva, in his own ashrama, which was surrounded by berry trees, sat down to meditate after touching water for purification.
Nihal. 4, number 4.
Thus he fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotional service, without any tinge of materialism, and thus he saw the absolute personality of Godhead along with his external energy, which was under full control.
Due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks to himself as a material product, and thus undergoes the reactions of the material miseries.
The material miseries of living entity, which are superfluous to him, can directly be mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme.
Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling of loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness.
Nihal. Text 8. Nihal. Nihal, are you there? Can you? Is Nihal speaking? Nihal, can you hear me?
He's on mute.
Oh, now I can.
Okay, text 8, Nihal.
The great sage Vyasadeva, after compiling the Shrimad Bhagavatam and revising it, taught it to his own son, Sri Sukadeva Goswami, who was already engaged in
Very good. Mihika, next.
Shaunaka asked Suta Goswami. Sukadev Goswami was already on the path of self-realization, and thus he was pleased with his own self. So why did he take the trouble to undergo the study of such a vast literature?
Okay. Nihal.
Suta Goswami said, all different varieties of Atmaras, those who take pleasure in all the Atma or spirit self, especially those who are established on the path of self-realization, though they freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unallowed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls.
Okay.
Sri Sukadev Goswami, son of Srila Vyasadeva, was not only transcendently powerful, he was also very dear to the devotees of the Lord. Thus, he underwent the study of this great narration, Shrimad Bhagavatam.
Very good. So we're going to discuss about what you have read. What you have read is Prabhupada translation of the slokas 1 to 11. So this chapter begins with Saunaka Muni asking questions, because in the last chapter, Narad gave instruction to Vyasadeva. You know that Narad told the Vyasadeva that the only Harikatha is most suitable boat to cross the material ocean for those who are full of anxieties. Therefore, you write about the glories of Namarup Gun Lila of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And then Narad left. So, in the beginning of chapter 7 here, as you read, Saunaka, one of the head of the all rishis that were assembled at the Naimisharanyam, he asked that after Narad left, what did Vyas do? Vyas got instruction from his guru Narad. So now the rishis are curious about what did Vyasdev do. So in reply, Sutta Goswami describes Vyasdev as ashram, right? What was the name of the ashram that you read in the translation? Samya Pras ashram. So make sure you make a note of also, so that way some of the things that you need to remember. The name of the ashram in which, or cottage, you can also say cottage, ashram, that up under Badri Narayan, there is a ashram called Samya Pras. And it was on the western bank of the river Saraswati. And it was surrounded by berry trees. So that was the situation that is described by Sutta Goswami. And then he says that, what did he do after that? So Vyasdev performed achman. Any activity you do, you perform some achman, take water and sip it and like that. So Vyasdev performed achman for purification, then concentrated his mind as per the direction of his spiritual master Narad Muni. So what did he do for that? He linked, means he connected his mind with devotional service. Devotional service means bhakti. So he connected his mind with devotional service without any tinge of materialism. Okay. And as a result, what happened? He saw the absolute personality of Godhead along with his external energy, which was under full control. So what we can learn from this thing is that this incident proves, because Vyasadeva connected his mind with bhakti, and he is able to see the Lord and his energy. So it means the perfect vision of the absolute truth is possible only by linking process of devotional service. That is most important lesson we can learn from this occasion, which is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. There is a one verse where Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Bhaktya means by bhakti, by devotional service, one can know me. He says in that verse also in Bhagavad Gita. So absolute is mentioned here as the Purus. Absolute means absolute Purus, Purna Purus. Purna Purushottam Bhagavan is Sri Krishna. Okay, it is defined many places in Shrimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita. Like Brahma says, Iswara Paramaha Krishna. So Krishna is supreme personality of a Godhead. So the supreme person has unlimited energies, out of which three are more important. And we discussed that before. You probably know. Anybody remember three important energies? Yeah, Mihika, go ahead.
Marginal energy, where we souls are from. Krishna's material energy and Krishna's spiritual energy.
Okay, so what does Krishna's material energy do?
Krishna's material energy basically like keeps us in this world and keeps like this curtain of Krishna consciousness, which the contaminated souls have to like uncover.
Very good. So material energy he manifests, or you can say he creates by the help of Brahma, is secondary creator. So with the help of material energy, he creates material world, in short. And with the help of this third energy, which is internal energy, right? Spiritual energy.
Spiritual energy.
Yeah, he maintains and creates spiritual world. Okay. With external energy, he creates and maintains material world. And with spiritual energy, he maintains and creates and maintains spiritual world. And the marginal energy, that we are all jivas. Why we are on marginal? Marginal is called tatastha also in Sanskrit.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Like we're basically like the middle, apart.
Right. So like you can give an example of like you are on the shore of a ocean. You can go in or you can stay on earth, like that. That's like a river or whatever, maybe swimming pool, So swimming pool at the edge when you stand, that is called tatastha, right? You can go in the water or you can stay on the, outside, right? So that is so in other words, the jiva, the soul that either we can go to either we can go to spiritual energy by doing bhakti, or we can stay in material energy in material world like that. So that is why we are tatastha like that. So Vyasadeva also understood that due to this external energy influence, materialistic living beings are suffering. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the remedy for suffering living being in this material world. Therefore, Vyasadeva, first of all, diagnosed the actual disease of the conditioned soul. And that disease is that living beings are illusioned by the external energy. That is what he found out of the. Okay. So even though the Lord and the living entity are qualitatively one, the Lord is the controller of the external energy, while we are controlled by the external energy. See the main difference you have to understand. The external energy is under the control of the Lord, but we are controlled by the external energy. That is the difference between us and God. Even though qualitatively we are, what is qualitatively means God is eternal, we are also eternal, like that. But God has possessed Sat Chaitan Anand, means eternity, knowledge, and full bliss. We also have soul has the same characteristic, but the soul is covered by material in influence of illusory energy, and that is why we cannot see the things that needs to be seen, and that is why we are under the control of material energy, while Lord controls it. So the material miseries of the living entity can be directly removed or mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the majority of people do not know this, and therefore Srila Vyasadeva compiles Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the supreme absolute truth. Simply by giving oral reception to this Shrimad Bhagavatam, the feelings for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation. Means when you read Shrimad Bhagavatam from a devotee's mouth, or when you read or when you hear from devotee's mouth, then you will be able to get rid of the material miseries. But it begins with the process of hearing and chanting the name. Chanting his name, maybe his fame, glories of Krishna, like that. And when the Lord is fully satisfied with the sincere effort of the devotee, he may give an opportunity to serve him. Okay. There are various senses in our body. If you know, there are 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Anybody knows 5 knowledge acquiring senses that we possess in our body? I'll tell you what they are, because they acquire some knowledge. For example, eyes, right? What does eyes do? Eyes, by seeing, you acquire knowledge. So eyes are good for acquiring knowledge. Ear, what is ear good for?
Hearing.
Hearing. So by hearing, you get knowledge also, right? Isn't that?
But
yeah.
aren't these our working senses?
No, working senses are different. This is knowledge acquiring senses.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about working senses later on, which is like hand, leg, all this, But let's talk about 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Means usko in Sanskrit they say gnanendriya. Okay, gnan means you receive knowledge. By eyes, if you see, you get knowledge, right? Because you can see, oh, this is a tree, this is a house, this is a car, by seeing it, right? Or whatever. I mean, wherever, by seeing, you see a lot of things. When you see, you acquire knowledge. And when you hear, you acquire knowledge. So similarly, what kind of knowledge you acquire by nose?
Smell.
Smell. So by smelling, you can, what kind of smell it is, right? Fragrance and like that. Okay. So that's why I counted 3. That 2 more. What about tongue?
Taste.
Yeah. So by tasting, right, you know whether it is bitter or, sweet or sour or something, right? Okay. And now the fifth sense in our body is skin.
The touching.
Touch. Yeah. So touch, you can, by touching, you can also acquire knowledge, whether it is smooth or rough or, that kind of thing. So now, can you tell me these 5 senses which acquires knowledge? What are the 5 senses which acquire knowledge? We just counted, right? Nihal, you want to name 1 or 2? Nihal, can you unmute yourself? Nihal, can you hear me? Okay, Mihika, can you unmute yourself?
Prabhuji, the 5.
What are these 5 senses that we talked about which acquires knowledge?
This seeing, hearing,
Yeah.
touching, tasting, and smelling.
Very good. And the senses for that is eye, ear, nose, tongue, and taste. I mean, tongue and skin, Right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Nihal, you got it? Nihal, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself, Nihal?
Yes.
Okay, Nihal. Nihal, did you hear about, we talked about the 5 knowledge acquiring senses in our body?
No.
You didn't hear?
No.
Okay. Mihika, can you repeat them? The name of the senses.
They're the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin.
Yeah. Tongue and skin.
Tongue and skin.
Okay. Nihal, did you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you repeat them?
Eyes, ears, mouth, tongue, nose, and skin.
Okay. Very good. And what do they do? They acquire knowledge. Correct? Yeah.
The tongue. Yes.
Tongue.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now, by hearing, you can say Parikshit Maharaj has achieved the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Okay. Now, few 8, 9, 10, 11, those verses, it describes Vyasdev teaches Srimad Bhagavatam to Sukdev Goswami. And then, let's see, so 1 to 7, the compilation of Srimad Bhagavatam is described. In other words, he said that I followed my guru's instruction, I meditated it, I saw Krishna and his energy and all this kind of thing. And then he understood that for the people in Kali Yuga, because they are conditioned, they need to hear, and that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the book that he compiled for the perfection of the conditioned soul. So now, after compiling the Vedas and summarizing their conclusion in the Vedanta Sutra, Srila Vyasadeva experienced his revelation about the absolute truth and then revised Srimad Bhagavatam. He then taught the Srimad Bhagavatam to Sukadev Goswami, who was an extraordinary personality and a liberated soul from the very beginning of his birth. So this is what happened. So Somnak Rushi was curious, and he says that he was surprised to hear that Sukdev, who was already self-realized, means Atmaram. We will learn that word in text 10, and that is the word we need to memorize. I'll go to at the end of the class. Who was pleased with his own self. The Sukdev Goswami was Atmaram. Atmaram means one who pleases himself. He doesn't need anything, So why did he take trouble to undergo the study of such a vast literature? Although Vyasadeva had wanted his son to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukdev left home immediately after birth without performing any purificatory or reformatory ceremonies. And later, Vyasadeva sent his disciple to recite 2 verses. One verse described the compassion of Lord Krishna, quality, and the second described the beauty of Krishna. So when Sukdev Goswami heard that, he was like a Brahmavadi, he was not believing in bhakti, devotional service to the Lord. But when he heard these 2 verses, one describes compassion of Krishna and one described the beauty of Krishna. So at that time, he came home back, to his father and learned those verses. So Sutta Goswami explained in 1.7.10 that even the liberated soul desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, because the Lord possesses transcendental qualities which are attractive. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that by his personal feature and unlimited transcendental qualities, the Lord attracts all psychological activities of the pure devotee. Such is the attractive power of the Lord Krishna. The attraction is so powerful that a pure devotee never hankers for any one of the four principles of religion. And there is another example of who was Brahmavadi and became devotee. There are four Kumaras, if you have heard them. Sanat, Sananandan. Yes, Mihika.
Prabhuji, why did Vyasadeva even have like he was the incarnation of Krishna, so why did he even like do all this hard work? Why couldn't since he's like incarnation of Krishna, he could have just like simplified the Vedas and just gave it. Why did he get like this all this illusion and like
Yes,
all this meditation?
very nice question, Mihika. So it's like they wanted to prove that the knowledge has to God in a disciplic succession. So even though Vyasadeva was incarnation of Krishna himself, yeah, actually he already had written, but he was not satisfied. Being a god, he has written so many Puranas, Upanishad, Mahabharata, everything, but he was not satisfied. And that one point, he had two things to learn from this episode, from this pastime, that, you cannot, you can write anything, you can do so much things, but if you do not mention about bhakti, then it is not good. Or bhakti is the only means by which Lord can be attained. So, like Vyasadeva, even though he was a God incarnation, was put into such a position, just like Arjuna was put into such a situation where he asked questions in Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, Vyasadeva was in such a situation. So his spiritual master Narad Muni came and told him what to do. Actually, he has written the Bhagavatam, but that's why we see he has revised it and rewritten it according to the instruction of his spiritual master. So here two things. One is to emphasize that the knowledge you get in a proper disciplic succession from guru to disciple, like that, So here we can see the disciplic succession from Lord Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narad, Narad to Vyasadeva, like that. And Vyasadeva to Madhvacharya, which is our Acharya of the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, like that. And the second thing is to emphasize that bhakti is the only thing, because that is that tattva, bhakti tattva. And bhakti tattva means Lord, the Vyasadeva hasn't elaborately described the Lord Krishna's Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela. Means name, beauty, quality, and pastime of Krishna very vividly, like what he did later on, with the instruction of spiritual master. Yeah, you got it?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yeah. So with this, now I'm gonna take some questions to you to ask. But before the questions, let us, in this 1 to 11 verse, one verse is important and very nice for you to know. That is why I will bring that on the screen, and then we're gonna practice reciting it. Okay, so that verse is number 10. Okay, so here, just recite after me, then I'll have you recite it, okay? Suta uvacha.
Suta
Uvacha
Atma ramascha munayo.
Atma Ramascha Munayo
Atma ramascha munayo.
Atma
Ramascha Munayo
Nirgantha api urukrame.
Nirgrantha Api Urukarame
Nirgrantha api urukrame.
Nigrantha api urukrame.
Kuravantyaha kim bhaktim.
Kurvaite ahitiko kim bhaktim.
Mehika, can you see it?
No, Prabhuji, I'm trying to see, but it's not like it keeps loading.
Oh,
What verse is it?
1, 7, 10.
Okay. Okay, I got it on my own screen.
Okay. Kuruvantyaha kim bhaktim. Please recite.
Kuruvantya hetu kim bhaktim
Itham bhuta guno harihi.
tham bhuta guno harihi.
Okay, one more time recite after me. Suta uvacha
Suta uvacha
atma ramascha munayo
atma ramascha munayo
niragrantha api urukrame.
nirgranta api urukrame
Kuravantyaha kim bhaktim.
kurvantya hetu kim bhaktim
Itham bhuta guno harihi.
Itham bhuta
Bhuta
guno hari.
hari.
Okay, anybody can recite? Who want to? Nihal, you want to recite?
Yes.
Right.
Suta uvacha atma ramascha munayo nirgantha api urukrame kurvantya ahatukam bhaktim itaham bhuta gunu hari.
Very good. Mehika.
Suta uvacha atma ramascha munayo nigranta api urkrame kurvantya hetu kim bhaktim itham bhuta guno harihi.
Very good. So since this verse, so out of 11, we're going to concentrate on this verse to remember, okay? So that's why we will go word to word also and see what it means. Suta uvacha, repeat after me.
Suta uvacha
Suta Goswami said,
Suta
Suta
Goswami said,
Goswami said,
Atma Ramaha,
Atma
Ramaha,
those who take pleasure in the Atma,
those who take pleasure in the
Atma,
generally spirit self,
generally spirit
generally
self,
spirit self,
cha
cha
also,
also,
munayaha
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 sages,
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 nirgranthaha
Nirgrantaha,
nirgrantaha
freed from all bondage,
free
freed
from all
from all
bondage,
bondage,
api
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 in spite of,
in spite of,
uru krame
urukrame
unto the great adventurer,
unto
unto
the
the
great
great
adventurer,
purvanti
Purvanti
Purvanti,
do
do
ahaitukim
ahetukim
Ahitukim,
unalloyed
unalloyed
unalloyed,
bhaktim
Bhakti,
bhaktim
devotional service,
devotional
devotional
service,
service,
itham bhuta
itham
Itam
bhuta
Bhuta,
such wonderful,
such
such
wonderful
wonderful
gunaha
gunaha
qualities,
qualities
qualities,
harihi
harihi
of
Harihi
the Lord.
of the
of the
Lord.
Lord.
Very good. So now, Nihal, can you read the translation?
So the Goswami said, all different varieties of Atma Ramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls.
Very nice. Mehika, can you read it?
Okay, Prabhuji. Sutta Goswami said, all different varieties of Atma Ramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls.
Very good. Thank you very much. So now I will ask you questions, and then I will have you, if you have any questions, I will answer it. So from whatever you have heard today, okay, my question number one is, you can raise your hand and I'll ask one by one, okay? Question number one is, what is the name of Vyasadeva's ashram? Anybody remember the name of the ashram of Vyasadeva?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
my Zoom is crashing, so I'm like, your voice is cutting a lot.
Oh, Nihal, can you hear properly my voice?
No, it's a little bit cutting too.
Oh, I don't know why it is so.
I think it's because of the internet. It's crashing.
Oh, my place internet looks okay, but I don't know.
It's
Okay.
probably mine, Prabhuji. That's why I'm crashing.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So my question is, what is the name of Vyasadeva's ashram? Anybody remember? Raise your hand.
I only remember the S.
Samya Prahas.
Yeah, Samya Prash.
Nihal, can you pronounce that? Can you speak? What is the ashram name? Samya
Samya
Prahas.
Pras.
Okay. All right. Next question. Where was Vyasadeva's ashram located?
On the western side of the river Saraswati.
River Saraswati. Okay, very good. What are three primary energy of the Lord? Nihal, I want to ask you that. We discussed that. The three primary energies of the Lord. Three energies of the Lord. Do you remember them?
Oh, yes. The first one is Antaragta.
Okay, Antaranga. Okay, very good.
The second is Tathastha.
Very good.
And the next one is Jiva Sakti.
Yeah, Bahiranga. Bahiranga means
Okay,
material. Antaranga in Sanskrit. Antaranga is internal. Bahiranga is material or external. And Jiva is marginal, Tatastha. Okay? All right. So these are like Sanskrit and English name. Yes, Mehika, do you have a question?
Can you repeat the Sanskrit names again?
Yeah. The Sanskrit Antaranga is internal. Bahiranga is external. And Tatastha is marginal. Okay? Or you can say external, internal, marginal.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Antaranga, Bahiranga, and
Tatastha.
Tatastha. Tat means the shore, I mean the bank of the river, ocean, like that. Tata.
Okay.
Yeah. In Sanskrit, you got Tata. Okay. Now, we discussed this point. Who is controlled by external energy? Nihal, can you tell me who is controlled by external energy?
Us?
हाँ
Yes.
वही ना
Yeah.
वो नहीं वो स्कूल वो अलग है। वो
Conditions.
फंडरेजर तो वो पैसे जमा करने का रहता है। वो स्कूल
What?
में जाके पैसे दो या फिर उनकी
Okay. So, Nihal, so we means the conditioned souls, the jivas, they are controlled by external energy. Then who is the controller of the material energy?
Krishna.
Krishna. Very good. Okay. Now, next question. How the miseries of the living entity can be mitigated? How can you remove the material miseries of the living entity?
By doing devotional service.
By doing devotional service. Very good. Now, next question. What are 5 knowledge acquiring senses? We already discussed that.
कुछ नहीं वो आपको
eyes,
वीडियो कॉल या ऑडियो कॉल करके ना
What is the noise in
एक
background there? Okay, Nihal, can you repeat?
their nose, eyes, ears, and tongue and skin.
Very good, very good. Mehika already knows it. So next question. Which sense is the most effective? Nihal?
Tongue,
No,
eyes,
no. The sense that
ears.
works in sleep also.
इंफॉर्मेशन दे देगी आपको कुछ
Ear.
सीरियस है तो अदरवाइज वो नॉर्मल सब
Why it is, why ear is most
Because
effective?
you can listen to Krishna's bhajan and kirtan.
Yeah, but the hearing is also effective even if you are at sleep, isn't that? Yeah, because even if you are at sleep, sometimes you not okay. When your alarm bell rings, can you hear it? No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I cannot see it, nose cannot smell it, tongue cannot taste it, But the ear, even if
And
you
the
are at
brain.
sleep, but if your alarm bell ring, then you wake up, right? If
How is the mind?
if some thief come, the mind is kind of an ordering senses to the thing, Yeah. So yeah, function of mind is to order the senses, but yeah, the hearing is such thing that it is only stay active during sleep also, not any other senses. That's the reason. Okay. All right. What is the result of hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam?
Can you repeat the question?
What is the result of hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam?
Getting devotional service.
Yeah.
Understanding Krishna.
Yeah, that's very good. So one gets attached to Sri Krishna and will free from lamentation, illusion, fearlessness, like that.
Fearlessness.
Yeah. So what is the example of getting perfection by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. Very good. Who did Vyasdev teach Srimad Bhagavatam? Nihal.
She did to his son.
What is the name of the son?
Sukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami. Very good. What did Sukadeva do after his birth? He left home right after his birth, and we didn't see this in our material world. But when he came out from the womb of his mother, immediately he became 16-year-old boy, and he went out from the home.
Exactly.
Now, why Sukadeva Goswami came back home?
Because Vyasadeva sent his these two disciples to say 2 shlokas from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, which were very attractive.
Mhm.
So they attracted Shukadeva Goswami, and he just came back.
What was that shlokas were describing? What qualities of Krishna?
Krishna's Leela pastimes, Krishna's beauties, and I forgot the other 2.
Compassion.
Compassion and
Krishna's compassion and Krishna's beauty. Aho Bakiyam. See, that sloka is there in Bhagavatam. And about Barhapedam, one verse, which is also they describe the beauty of the, sometime we'll discuss about that. What is that verse is, Now, who became devotee
Hare
after?
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
It's 6:51.
Yeah. Okay. So we just about wrap it up now. Okay. So, who became devotee after smelling the aroma of fragrance from tulsi leaves? Four Kumar.
The four Kumaras.
Four Kumara. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll end the session here. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we'll see you next Tuesday and we'll move forward. Okay. And meanwhile, I will request you to learn this verse 1, 7, 10. Chapter 7, Canto 1, verse number 10, Atma Ramascha Munayo. Okay, Nihal?
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.